My advice for students who want to make documentaries is to really feel very passionate about your subject matter, because it takes everything, and will take many years of your life. It'll take like a lot of energy. It'll take, it's an opportunity cost. So you really have to believe in it to do it.
I think you can research and you need to know everything you should know, but then you also need to feel free. We are not Wikipedia, documentary filmmaking. We're not Wikipedia pages. We're not print journal. We're about creating emotion and connection and visual identification and empathy. So I think it's a balance between, having all the information, but just also being led by your heart.
You're going to be in these moments when you're making nonfiction that are so electric and so emotional that you need to have like some pillars to lean on, And for us, it was this language that we sort of created together. The cinematographer is Rob Kolodny, and he's a total genius. We talked a lot about strategy first, so we knew the kinds of images we wanted to make, and that's the biggest thing. It's you start with a plan, and you have to really think about like these are the movies we're referencing, this is what we want to see, and then you have to be ready to abandon the plan as soon as things change. But that really became something, because when we're in these rooms together, and a lot of times it would, Bennett would be outside the room with the producers, and everyone would be outside the room except us, Rob and me and the guys, and just having all those conversations that we had hours and hours of talking about images, just we could lean on that.
My life is full of, a lot of life pivots and creative pivots, and be it being an author or a podcast host or a member of the Roots or being on The Tonight Show or working on Broadway plays like Hamilton. This, however, directing a movie was one of the more difficult jumps. It was that of like bungee jumping. But I will say that the silence and the time that I experienced during the pandemic, where we weren't as busy, and the world stopped. That's the time when we started doing the heart of the film, and I'll say that helped me a lot to the place where I am now. So I've learned that embracing silence and boredom and calmness, that helps a lot in the creative process. So.
We love telling the stories of iconic, legendary, groundbreaking, phenomenal women. Both of these women fit the bill. In Julia's case, changing American culture, how we cook, and even how we think about food, how we think about women on television, just seemed like not only important, but also really fun terrain for us to delve into. And sure enough, it was really a pleasure to make this film. Research for a documentary is a really huge part of directing. We're doing research ourselves. To be honest, we've got a small team of amazing people who are also helping out with the research. In the case of the Julia Child film, we were researching an enormous archive full of videotape of Julia, both on her television show and in more private moments, and just an incredible trove of personal, intimate photos, many of them taken by Julia's husband, Paul. We're researching letters, we're researching, the person's life story, and also other amazing women who knew and crossed paths with Julia, whose stories, whose interviews could help bring the story to life. And in this case, which isn't an experience I've had in a film before, we're even researching recipes. Like, what were the coolest and most influential recipes that Julia created and brought to American kitchens, and which of those recipes might kind of fit with the story in a way that we could include them with our film.
I think I wanted to make the film for a whole variety of reasons, but one, to sort of be this historical document of this time. And, we were very fortunate to be able to be inside of a hospital at a time when most people weren't seeing what was happening inside of hospitals. And so I hope it stands as a sort of, as a historical document of what was happening, during the first wave of the pandemic. I tend to not do a lot of research, to be honest. My films are generally sort of experiential verite docs. So I'm going to do some research, but generally try to experience it as I make it.
Well, especially making a film in another country, research plays a huge part in it. My head of research is actually one of my writing partners. Her name is Sandy Farkas, and so we really dove in to go back to why the one-child policy was in place, what the domino effect of that was, to understand it from a basic level. And then because we were dealing with such emotionally charged content, we worked with a lot of social workers who specialized in adoption and childhood trauma. One of the young women in the film is my niece, so there was already a trust there, but building trust with Sadie and Lily and the other girls was just a very important priority to me. They had seen my other film Step, so I think that was good for them to see the kind of filmmaker I was and my filmmaking style and the tone of my storytelling. But I also think, we put the girls' emotional well-being above any sort of filming, and they knew that, and we were constantly checking in with the parents and the girls, and they could, stop at any time, and just knowing that they were the most important thing to myself, to my amazing crew.
Research is everything. Research is one of my favorite parts of the process, and most of my films have been period films. So the research is essential to the storytelling, but such a part of the way you decide how to visualize your film and what kind of references to other films might be informing the way you're going to approach it. So yeah, I love that process. There's a lot of expectations, a lot of love, a lot of experts and fans who have a lot of demands on something like that. But I was a fan too, and I sort of had to let my own instincts lead me, and so far it seems like they've been taking us in the right direction with the way the film's been reacted to.
You know what? I actually, for the first time, brought students of UCLA into my set, and they were working with me, the students that just finished. Now, I actually did it's not a short, it's like 15 minutes documentary I did in 2012, I think, 2011 or 12. And I brought some students of SCAD because I was filming in Atlanta and was based in Atlanta by this time. I brought some of the students of SCAD. So what I really suggest, believe in yourself, take a camera like you have right now, like you're using cell phones, and just go and document subject matters, document stories, bring these stories to the bigger world, because there is so many fascinating stories, and the world needs it. The world need people who taking these stories and through their storytelling bring to the audience, educating audience, making them to change their perspectives, making their life-changing situations. For me, each of my movies is advocacy, activism, and action, call for action. So I think that's what is on your shoulders, the younger generation of filmmakers, to inspire people, to change lives, and to create a better future.
Flea is really a story about memory and trauma. And with the animation, it really enabled us to be more expressive about things that has hard times talking about or has hard times remembering. So it's really that we could be more expressive and be more honest to his emotions than focusing on being realistic about how things looked. It's so hard to give advice on doing arts because it's so much what comes from you. So it's really about trusting your own talent, trusting your voice, and surrounding you with people who can push you forward, but also challenge you. But at the same time, really trusting your own voice.